name is Suze McLean-Bond, and welcome to Unlock Your Life, the podcast about how to create a business that's growing without sacrificing or compromising your talents, your skills, your relationship, your loved ones, your kids, your life. So we are in the middle of a series around money and finance. The entire year of 2019, we're going to take a look into how money is related to all other areas of life. And we're now talking about money and finance, which is pretty obvious that there's a relationship. Next up will be money and relationships and money and health, etc., etc. So we are now in episode number 4 of Money and Finance. And we've been talking about money blueprints, about managing money. And today I'm going to give you the first tip in this series, and that is how to create a money management system that actually works. And I've explained this before in a few episodes, but there are so many questions about it that I thought, let's just go over it again. So today is just going to be an episode where we're talking about money management and a great system for money management. It's not a system I invented. It's from T. Harv Eker. So most of you maybe know him, some maybe not. T. Harv Eker is one of my mentors, and he taught me the money jar system. And that works with 6 money jars. And it's the easiest money management system in the world. You just create 6 literal jars on your countertop, or you create 6 bank accounts, or both. And you start dividing your money in percentages over this system. And it's really very simple. Let me explain the jars first, and then I'll explain how the system of filling the jars works. So, you have 6 jars. One jar, obviously, is your necessities jar, and that is for necessities. Now, we can talk a lot about what necessities are. I think handbags and shoes are also necessities, and they're probably pretty handy, but necessities, I don't know. I tend to think of necessities, the things that you absolutely have to have. Food, a roof over your head, and in the country where I live, you have to have insurance, you have to pay taxes. Maybe some medical things, but that's it. The rest is not a necessity. The rest is a luxury, which is fine, but we have a different jar for that. Vacation is not a necessity. It's a different jar. Necessities are just the things that you absolutely have to pay, otherwise you will have major life problems. And yes, vacations also a lack of vacation can also cause major life problems, but I am really talking about first things first. Food, water, roof, maybe some hospital doctors and taxes and insurance, and that's it. That's the necessities jar. And in my world, 55% of your income should go there. So I have a bank account, 55% of whatever we make goes into that bank account, and that is what pays our necessities. Then, next jar is LTSS, or better known as long-term saving for spending. So it's a savings jar, you save, but it is meant for spending. So you save in that jar for car breakdowns, new washing machines, vacations, kids' education, stuff that you know you're going to have to spend and you want to spend, but it's not a monthly returning cost. You will need the money eventually, but it's not always foreseen. So you can have maybe you can even have different jars for this. They're all long-term saving for spending, but maybe you would have one for the car, one for vacations, one for a certain trip that you want to make. So this is money you want to spend, but you also need to save up for it. I put 10% of our income in that. And then you have another savings jar, and that is the FFA, the Financial Freedom Account. That is money that you never, ever, 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 ever spend. All you do with it is you invest it in things that make you more money. So you could invest it in the stock market or in real estate or in another business. You invest it in a way that will create more money. So maybe you have to learn a little bit before you can use this money, but you put 10% of your income in it and you make sure that you figure out a way of how that money will create more money for you, because this is the most important jar of all. If you hear people talking about pay yourself first, it's put the 10% in this jar before you put it in any other jar. Because this jar, growing over time, will actually make sure that you will always have money, because it makes babies, right? This money makes babies. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a while, but this is really important. I don't care if you know how to invest. You need money to invest. And maybe you also need some education, but that's not rocket science. Then you have, so we now had the necessities, the long-term saving for spending, and the financial freedom account. Then the next jar is the play jar. And that is the jar for fun things, for going out for dinner, for spa treatments, for shoes, for handbags, for stuff you don't need, but just really want that make you happy. Ice cream on a beautiful Sunday with your kids. This jar has to be empty end of every single month because it is there to enjoy life. Jewelry, buy nice presents for somebody, whatever it is you love and you enjoy. This is the jar to do that. And we talked about the money blueprints. Savers typically don't like this jar. I get it. Spenders, you want to put all your money in this jar. But no matter what money type you are, we need to enjoy ourselves. We need to do that. And we need to put 10% of our effort and of whatever we did in order to do that. Now, I won't judge how you enjoy yourself, but you need to spend a little bit of money on it. So please do yourself a big favor. Work together with your blueprint. We'll talk about how that works next week. And put 10% of your money in this jar and blow it every single month, because that will fuse you to create more for the other jars as well. Because if this was a big amount, then that means that there's also a big amount in your savings account and in your necessities account and in your financial freedom account. So because all the jars work together, if there's a lot here, there's also a lot in the other ones. Fifth jar is the education jar. And this jar is to learn. It's to learn new things, learn new skills. Our brains develop by learning. We need to learn. We need to constantly be learning. Spend this on learning how to use your FFA money. Spend it on dance classes. Spend it on cello lessons. Spend this on stuff you want to develop yourself with, because we need that. As human beings, we need to be growing. We need to be learning. I don't know what you want to be learning, but our brains and our lives and everything we are made of is expanding all the time. And we need to feed that and nourish it. Otherwise, a part of us will be dying. So the education jar is for education, but it's not just for higher education. It's to learn whatever it is that your heart wants you to learn. Sixth jar is the give jar. And this is a jar of money that you give away to a cause that you believe in. Personally, I give my give jar to School at Sea, a program that sends 16, 17-year-old kids from the Netherlands to the Caribbean up and down for a 6 months program where they also have teachers on board. And I strongly believe, because of my background, where I was taught everything I know about life on board of those tall ships, that kids 16, 17 who've been in that experience will absolutely change and will know better how to deal with life than anybody else. So I spend money on that because currently I think about 20 people go with this program every year. And I feel that there should be 20 ships, maybe 200, maybe 2,000. So this is the jar that really gets me to think, hey, how can we create more money? Because I would love to give more money to that cause. But this jar gets 5%. So if I want to grow it, I need to grow my income. So that is the rule. The rule is these are the jars. So it's 55% necessities, 10% FFA, LTSS, education and play jar, 5% give jar. You could also do 50% necessities and also 10% for the gift jar. That's okay. But the only way to grow the content of your jars is to grow your income. Because if you have more to divide, all jars will grow. And that's the beauty of these management system. Because if you want to play more, that's fine. Your FFA will grow as well. Your LTSS will grow as well. Your gift jar will grow as well. If you're inspired by your gift jar, then all the others will grow as well. If your financial freedom account inspires you, then all the others will grow as well. You don't have to choose. You have to grow the lump sum that is divided. And that is the beauty of this management system. It will take care of you if you take care of it. So take the jar that inspires you most and start, for sake of that jar that inspires you, to grow all the others and to do whatever it is that you need to do. The beauty of it is that there's always one or two jars that we feel like about. Oh, I don't care about that jar. But if you're growing it anyway, then make sure that you're using it to break through all the blueprint issues that you have around that jar. That's the beauty of it. I had a lot of issues around the long-term saving for spending jar because I didn't want to save. I wanted to avoid everything. Using that to make sure that I got a little bit of space between me and my avoider syndrome really helped me. I really, really, really urge you to put 6 jars on your table and start dividing. And if you currently think, yeah, but you know what? All my money is for necessities at this point. I need all of my money, all of my income to divide over the jars. I can't divide anything. It's all necessities. Now look at what you spent over the last year. Just look at your credit card or your bank statements and see, hey, what did I spend on? Because I'm pretty certain that you are already spending money from your LTSS, and you are probably already spending play money, and you're already spending all these other things. Maybe you don't have a financial freedom account, but just check your accounts and check your statements and look at it and see how the percentages currently happen to be. Because it's not all necessities. Shoes really are not a necessity. One pair should be enough. Maybe it isn't, but then you are spending your play jar. So if you have holidays, then you have an LTSS. You're just not aware of it. So look at the percentages that are currently there and start looking at the percentages that you would like. And then start managing the money that comes in. And maybe your necessities jar is not 55% yet. Maybe it's 75%. So then work towards how can you increase your income. Maybe you can ask for a raise. Maybe you can create more clients. Maybe you can sell some more. Maybe you can create a bigger or better program. And I'm happy to help you out with that in the Facebook group. But please start managing what it is you have. I started this by dividing 10 euros a month over the jars. I just took a couple of coins and divided them over the jars. Took a couple of coins, started dividing them. I started to make a game out of it with the small change in my pocket, in my purse, and I started dividing that over the physical jars on my countertop. And what happened is that I used to think, well, what is it going to do if I have 10 euros in my financial freedom account? I mean, that's nothing. What can you even invest in with that? Then at a certain point, there was 1,000 euros in it. And I thought, hey, I could actually buy some stock for that. And 6 months later, it was 10,000. And that is serious investment money. And then all of a sudden, it started to dawn upon me that the simple game was actually creating a place of fun, of enjoyment, and of control because I was managing it. And now we have 6 bank accounts, and the accounts are working for us. And all we need to do to create more in one account is to start getting creative of how to increase our income. And that's fun, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because it's actually pretty easy to contribute to the world. And if you think that's hard, give me a shout out. in the Facebook group. The link is down below. Money Mindset Strategies for Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs. Very happy to answer all of your questions on the Monday Morning Mindset Mastermind, where you can ask me anything and we'll have a chat and we talk about it. So start managing, share all your thoughts in the comments, join the Facebook group, and I can't wait to see you next week. And hold your horses, because next week we are talking about how to work together with your money blueprint, because working together with it and seeing your blueprint as your best friend when it comes to your finances is crucial. So see you next week. Share this podcast with anybody who should listen to this, and bye for now.